Will this daiquiri be crowned as the best of all time? We'll find out today as we make the Royal Daiquiri. The Royal Daiquiri is not unknown, but it's definitely not too popular. I'm sure most of you watching have not heard of this or had this drink. The drink was created by Don the Beachcomber. You'll find recipes here and there, but today's recipe comes from this tiny little booklet. New Guide to Great Rum Drinks, recommended by Gourmet magazine. There's no printing date on this little guide, but most likely the mid to late 1960s, and was put out by Rums of Puerto Rico. And I need to get my hands on a vintage juicer like this one. Not a lot of inventive recipes in here. After all, it's not a cocktail book by a bartender or bar owner, but a government-backed initiative which still exists today to promote authentic Puerto Rican rums. What makes this recipe stand out and royal is the use of Parfait Amour, an ingredient that most of you do not have. Probably like 99.9% of you do not have this ingredient, and most of you never will, but we'll make this drink anyways. I did use this bottle for a recipe somewhat recently, and I know of a couple more, so I want to cover it more for myself and the 0.01% of you that may also have a bottle like this. Parfait Amour is basically a floral, violet-colored offshoot of Curacao that apparently popped up in the 1700s, when color and perfume were as important as the flavor of it. It usually combines orange peel with violet, vanilla, and sometimes almond, rose, or orange blossom, depending on who's making it. Vanilla is the big flavor that I get from the Marie Brizzard variety. Think of it as like a floral, purple Curacao with plenty of vanilla. The recipe here calls to Waring blended, and that is referring to a regular stand-up blender, not the Hamilton Beach style drink mixer blender. Waring made these blenders popular and everywhere, so you'll often see from the 1950s and onward the call to Waring blend something, and all that means is to use your traditional blender. But the results are not necessarily a frozen blended slushy cocktail. In this instance, it calls for just half a cup of already crushed ice, so the blending gives you dilution, chill, it gives you texture. But these blenders, these old ones, they do not work well. Not well at all. At least not mine. Which is why you want or need to use crushed ice in these, since it can't pulverize the ice on its own. I mean, otherwise you're just left with a lot of big ice chunks. I'll use a newer blender for this, but the recipe does even say that you can opt to shake it. I'm going to double this recipe, but I will call out the measurements for a single cocktail as we go through it. Let's start with half an ounce of lime juice, half an ounce of Parfait Amour, a quarter teaspoon of sugar, 1.5 ounces of a white rum, Puerto Rican, of course, and then just half a cup of crushed ice. It does not call for a garnish or a twist or an expression of orange peel, but I like the expression of an orange peel here. It just makes it feel a little bit more fancy, a little bit more royal. So there you go, the Royal Daiquiri, drink from Don the Beachcomber. All right, let us try the Royal Daiquiri. Cheers. It's pretty good. There's a little bit of a plainness to it. A little bit like it feels a little bit over diluted. I don't really think it's the ice or the recipe, and I think it's just because the Puerto Rican rums of today are not going to be as flavorful as the ones when this was made in the 1950s, or the ones you would have gotten in the 1950s and 1960s. So a more flavorful rum would help with that, because in this you can't you can't. I don't even know if you can really tell that it's rum. The Parfait Amour is also it's not too strong, so you don't have too much of that floral component there. But really, that bottle I have, it's mainly like an orangey vanilla flavor. I happen to be making this video on a day it's kind of warm, so the icy frozen slushy component, it's pretty good. But it is November, so if you are in a colder climate, just shake this. See if you like to shake this first before doing a blended version, because I think that would help make it feel like it's not so diluted. With just a quarter teaspoon of sugar, there's not a lot of sweetness here either. So it doesn't even taste as sweet as the typical daiquiri that you might order But the typical daiquiri too is going to have a little bit more pop of acidity because you'd be using, for me at least 3/4 to a full ounce of lime juice for a daiquiri. And I do think the orange peel helps. Anytime you express an orange peel over the top of a drink, you are going to get those aromas. It's not only on the top of your drink, it's often surrounding that whole area. If you watch that shot, you'll see that it goes everywhere, including your glass and then your hands. So you get that orange oil, that orange aroma as well. It doesn't have orange flavor. It's the orange oil flavor. But all in all, I think it's a tasty daiquiri riff. I would not buy a bottle of Parfait Amour to make this, but if I had a bottle, or if you were interested in some of the other cocktails you can make with it, then this would be a good use for that. I would probably change up the rum a little bit, something a little more flavor. Maybe try a dash or two of Angostura bitters, and then maybe upping the rum to 2 full ounces as well. So there you go, the Royal Daiquiri from Don the Beachcomber. And one of the things I think I'm liking more and more about this is just the fact that you can get I don't want to say natural purple color, but you can get a purple color from a liqueur that isn't too floral, that isn't too, creme de violette that could be intense. And this is not intense. It's like a vanilla curacao really. So if you're looking to make purple drinks, then I think this works well for those applications. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like below, consider subscribing to this channel. And if you want to support this channel more, I have a Patreon page. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.